Good old chuck roast. There's nothing better than a good old chuck roast with carrots and potatoes, is there? Hey y'all, it's Chris and Tammy with Collard Valley Cooks, and today we're making a good old braised chuck roast. It's in our third cookbook, and you're gonna love this one. Let's get started. All right, so we've got fresh rosemary from outside, and I've put in some freeze-dried basil. I didn't have any parsley, so I'm just using a blend. This is a Herbes de Provence blend. So I'm throwing some of that in there. Roasted garlic. It is powder, it's not salt, okay? So we'll put some of that in there. And all we're doing right now is heating up these herbs so that it enhances their flavor. So make sure you've got it on a low temperature, okay? And just throw some in there. I don't really have the amounts spelled out too much on those herbs. I do a little for a few of them, and a few of them I don't. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to take our beautiful chuck roast. This is gorgeous. And we're going to salt and pepper it really well. And I'm not going to do both sides. Well, I might once I put it down in my flour. So this side will go down in the flour first. This is kosher salt and just black pepper. I'm going to take these herbs off the heat. Now you want your skillet to continue to preheat because you're going to brown your roast. So just put your herbs in something on the side and continue to let it preheat. I'm going to turn it up a little bit because we're getting ready to brown our roast. All right, and so now we've got salt and pepper on there. We're going to put flour on it. We're going to make a little bit of a mess, and that's all right. Boy, the house is going to smell so good. I'm going to pick it up and flip it over. And repeat. And now I'm not going to put my herbs on it because I don't want to burn them. Because I'm going to brown this really good. And it would just burn the herbs if I put that on there. So we're going to put some olive oil in our skillet. Go ahead and let your skillet preheat. This is a braiser. You can get one online. They have a 5-quart and a 4-quart. This is the 5-quart. And we're going to get this in here and let it sear. Make sure you got your eye on high. So just give it plenty of time to get nice and pretty and brown. Now my recipe calls for chicken stock. And I had so many questions. Why did you use chicken stock when you're making a roast? Because it's what I had on hand. And I put it in the recipe. But of course you can use beef stock, and I don't have any chicken today, so we're using beef. We're going to use 2 cups. And I like to get stock instead of broth, but you can buy either one. I get the stock when it's on sale. It's called a pigtail food flipper, and there's a link on the website, and you need to make sure you buy a jackered hook. If you don't, it'll be big and fat and won't be sharp. It'll say it will, but it won't, okay? So be careful and make sure. I would just use the link I give you. We're going to turn this over and brown the other side. Looks good. Braiser's doing good. Like I said, this is a 5-quart braiser. It has a nice heavy lid. We are braising this roast. When you braise something, you do not have a vent hole in your lid. So you can use your Dutch oven that has a big, nice heavy lid as well. If you don't have a braiser, you can always use your Dutch oven. But it keeps all the juices in the roast as it cooks. This one is a very affordable one I picked out for you guys. It is, I think it's around $59. It has a nice heavy lid and a non-stick. It has these handles that don't get real hot because they're silicone. And so it's just a real good buy. Make a good Christmas present, wouldn't it, Chris?
Yeah.
Buy somebody one for Christmas. They'll love it. Chris loves braised stuff, don't you, baby?
That's my favorite way to cook.
Yep, he loves. You can split a chicken in half, cook the whole chicken at one time. You can make beef shank in them, your roasts in them. I mean, just about anything really that you would use a slow cooker for. You can cook with this braiser on a slow temperature, and boy, is it delicious. I have smashed this garlic just to get the peel off of it. Now I'm just going to slice it into a few slices to add into our roast. So we're going to add a carrot, and this is to flavor it. This is not our carrots, our vegetables we're going to actually eat. A lot of people thought, why didn't you put more vegetables in there? Right now we're just braising our roast, and we're seasoning it with a carrot and onions. This is not vegetables we'll be eating with the roast. Onions, and your onions should be in big pieces like that. Celery, leaves and all. And when we get this roast finished, we will actually strain the broth and get this out of the broth. And then we have our garlic. And now we're going to add 2 cups of our stock. And this is going to cook. On a very low temperature. And it's going to cook about 5 hours. Okay, let me show y'all this roast. All right, and you can tell it's on a low simmer. And if you take a fork, it's pretty done. Really close to being fork done. Now, Chris, you can strain this broth, and I tell you to strain it before you thicken it. But Chris said he didn't want to fool with straining it. He don't mind getting the herbs and stuff, I guess, on his plate. So we're not going to strain it today. But we are going to put some good old vegetables in it. So I've cut up some potatoes to go in here and some carrots. And so we are going to wind up eating those carrots after I told you we weren't. The celery's in there, but we don't care. We're going to eat it all. Ain't we, Chris?
Yep.
And so I'm going to put the lid back on it. But I'm going to show y'all how I peel potatoes. Some of y'all already know, but some of you don't. I peel them like my mama did. Now, I always cut my carrots the deeper, you know, the fatter side. I put the skinnier ones in there. But if they get pretty deep, then I split them. Sometimes it's hard to split them equally. So when I peel a potato, I use a knife like this. And I just start going around it most of the time, and I just continue going. And as much as potatoes are costing these days, you don't want to cut a whole lot of the potato off with the peeling because they are getting expensive. We're going to get these, try to get these down in the deep part, especially the carrots. And this braiser's already done it. That's pretty good, ain't it? Y'all can look at the flame that's under it because I haven't turned it up or down since I started. And you can kind of get an idea of how hot it is under there. And I really think that I'm not going to salt and pepper this because I think it's got enough in it. And we'll see you in about an hour. All right. Chris is watching the football game, so he's in a hurry. But we're going to do this real quick. And we're going to try to make a shortcut. And I'm going to make some gravy. And what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to dip these out because I want to be able to whisk my gravy a little bit, okay? All right, that's good enough. So I was just trying to get some of that out so I can thicken the gravy. And I'm going to try to get most of my rosemary out of here. Lots of times when you do that, you get your onion too. But it's all in this meat because it's been cooking in it all day. And I was wrong on my time. This thing had been boiling 3 hours when I put my vegetables in here. So it's really been in here 4 hours. All right, I got me some milk in there. We're going to thicken this gravy. And I'm going to use some Wonder flour. I should have made some biscuits to eat with it. Now you can thicken this as much as you want to. If you want it thicker than that, you can get it thicker than that. So we're gonna make us a plate. You ready to make a plate, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Let's taste this and see if it's salty enough over here. Okay. Pretty much. All right. I'm going to turn it off. We'll make this plate. So get you some taters, some carrots. My mama didn't like for me to say taters, but and some good old roast. Look at that roast. It's just falling to pieces done. That's how it's delicious. Delicious.
It's pretty tender, ain't it?
Good old chuck roast. There's nothing better than a good old chuck roast with carrots and potatoes, is there? I hope y'all have enjoyed watching this chuck roast, and we're going to enjoy eating it. Y'all have a wonderful day. And we thank you so much for watching Collard Valley Cooks, where we cook like Mama did. And remember, this recipe is in our 3rd cookbook.